This is what's called box modeling or box extrusion modeling. We will try to model a small spaceship starting out from a cube. And we can do it in different ways, but I'll show you one way to do it. And then maybe I'll show you a different way to do it as well. And then you can decide what makes most sense for you. So one thing is, whenever you model things for a bigger project, it's a good idea to model each thing in a separate file. So for instance, let's say you are going to build a cowboy town or something like that. Then you might build each house in one scene each. So you have one file called the saloon and another file called the bank and I don't know. No, I don't want to change the color scheme. Or you might even go even further than that, and then have elements in separate files like saloon door and I don't know, whiskey bottle, whatever. The good thing about separating things is that it is easy to find, and when you are building your final scene, you can either import or reference files into that. And the good thing about referencing is that if you reference a bottle in, and you then decide that it shouldn't be a whiskey bottle, it should be, I don't know, a milk bottle, then you can just change that file, and then it will update, and then it's a milk bottle instead. So things like that. Actually, when 3D production is done on a large scale, then often people will create placeholder or mock-up objects for a lot of things, and it will be placed in a scene. So you have maybe simple boxes for different things, and you can figure out how you want to choreograph the camera and things like that. And then you have modelers modeling away on these models, and they get approved, and then they get updated into the scene, and then you figure out, if we need to make this shot look right, maybe the window shouldn't be there, it should be over there, and then the modeler can update that, and the whole thing works together. So it's a good idea to model things separately. And another thing is, it's a good idea to save often. Some of you already experienced Maya crashing. That happens from time to time. For a funny reason, it happens more to people that haven't been using Maya for a long time. I don't know why. It's just, maybe it's because it's evil. But it happens. So save often. Another thing is, it's a good idea to save in checkpoint files. So if you're building a house 1, house 2, house 3, or maybe house Monday the 14th of January or something like that, so that you can always go back. Maybe you change something and things go bad. There's also something that if you get to work in the industry, you'll experience this. And I had one student that experienced that about a year ago. He was making a project for a client at the company where he was an apprentice. And he made something he thought was really nice. And the customer comes by and says, yes, no, I think if you did this and this, it would be nicer. And he goes, okay. So he changes it. And he sends it to him, and they go, yes, but maybe if you do this, it will be better. And then he changes that, and that goes on for a while. And then there's another correction request, and he says, yes, but the deadline is tomorrow. And they go, okay. Actually, we like the first one better. And then it's really bad if you don't have a version of the first one, because then you have to figure out what the hell did I change. So save often and save in different files so that you can always go back and get what you had once upon a time. That is a good idea. Spaceship. Let's try and do that. Let's see I've been recording all of my rambling. Great. I'll start out with the cube. This is how I usually do it. Use the scale tool, just change the size of this slightly. Right click, go face, and then in this case I will click the front here. There. And I will use something called the extrude tool. I can either go to edit mesh, extrude, or I can choose it here on the shelf. When I choose extrude, I will get like this overloaded manipulator. It has both the move buttons, it has the scale buttons, and it has the rotation circle. So I can use all of it. Important thing here, if you want to extrude it, if you actually want to give it depth, you would drag the blue arrow, or you would change the thickness over here. So you can see both does sort of the same thing in different ways. If for some reason, and I'll show you that in a second, if I just undo here. So I start out with this. If for some reason you deselect, then remember to undo. Because if you do it again, you will have two extrusions on top of each other. Okay? So if I just select this and move it, you can see it already made the subdivision. Right? So if you sort of unselect it by accident, remember to just undo. There. So just go face, this is the new one, and extrude. So you see if I click here, I can undo and go back, and then I have the extrusion. Okay? So I'll just make this like a cockpit of a small aircraft. Maybe click the circle here and then rotate it a little bit. I can press the G key to repeat, or just click up here again. So if I press G, I'll get another instance of the extrusion. Something like that. Maybe we want to make sort of like a window. Press G, and then just scale it in a little bit. So that will be the window. Then I want to create the wings. So I select one, rotate to the other side, hold the Shift key, and press the other side. So you can see now I have both sides selected. And if I click extrude, as I drag this out, it will drag it out on both sides. I can change the size of this slightly, and I'll do another one. I could also press G there and just make this something like this, maybe a little out, and another one like so. And just drag that back a little bit and make it something like this. Now there's one thing that is going to be funny. If you drag the green arrow, you can see it'll be weird. And the reason is that, sorry, there. The reason for that is that these the manipulator here, which has X, Y, Z. Oh, actually, it's a right hand. Sorry, X, Y, Z will be the same on the other side, but it can't match up all three in a mirror mode. So it will have the Z going this way and the X going that way, but to do that it has to rotate the whole thing, so the Y will be going up over here. To get around that, you can either go to your move tool, or you can click this little thing up here, and then you can move it. And then you can click it and go back, and then you can do whatever you need to do. Okay? You can also just go to your move tool. That'll work too. Then we need to create a little tail fin. So I just select that one, extrude, and then make like an inset here, something like that. Maybe make it slightly higher. Then another one, drag that up a little bit. There. And then the final thing is I would like to create a rocket thing. So I just select that one, shift that one, shift and shift. So there I have 4 selected now. And I choose another of these extrude ones. And let's just in this case, take the offset thing. So I'll just drag the offset a little up, like there maybe, 0.2, that's fine. And then I'll do another one. And this time I'll change the thickness, so it goes in a little bit. Maybe a little more, like so. And then we have the rocket part of it. And then when I'm done, I right click and go object mode. And then I have this spaceship thing looking. It's a little boxy. It's like the Volvo edition. And if you want the sports edition, you press 3 and then it will smooth it. So it'll look like this. It's the same model, it's just this is what's called the cage, and this is the smoothed version. You can also press 2 and you'll see both. So you can go in, if I right click and go vertex, if I drag this point for instance, you can see it highlights 2 points, this one and this one, because this is the control cage and this is the resulting point on the model. And then I'll move that. You can see it's like a rubber thing I can model with. This is something we're going to work on quite a bit at some point. Just go object and press 3. And I'll stop here. What we'll do later is we will create what's called UVs for this thing when it's done, and then we'll try painting it with paint as well. So that will probably be maybe today, if we're good, or at least tomorrow. So I'll save this file, save scene as spaceship January 2016. There we go, and save.